Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders. Discover what's possible when people impacted by autism inspire change and build community. Together with the Global Autism Project, here's your host, Rachel Harmon.
Hello, everyone. This week's episode features our recent cohort of Global Autism Community Moderators, self-advocates Michelle Vinokurov, Corben Havener, and Mary Johnston. In June 2022, Michelle, Corben, and Mary joined our team of moderators, which also included Liz Castillo, who was unable to join this recording. The team usually meets to discuss the community's monthly theme and decide which subtopics they will post about each week. Throughout each month, the moderators take turns monitoring posts daily to ensure that our online space remains safe and respectful. We're currently taking applications for our next round of moderators to join our team. If you're interested in developing your leadership skills, expanding your network as an advocate, and stepping outside of your comfort zone, check out the link in our show notes to apply for this unique position. In today's conversation, we discuss proud moments of 2022, the team's experiences as community moderators, goals and priorities for 2023, and advice for future moderators of our community. In this episode, discover what's possible when connections go deeper. To learn more about the participants in this discussion, please visit our show notes at autismknowsnoborders.com. We appreciate your time. If you enjoy this podcast and you'd like to support our mission, please take just a few seconds to share it with one person who you think will find value in it too. You can also follow us on Instagram at Autism Podcast, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Global Autism Project, and join our online community on Mighty Networks at community.globalautismproject.org. And now I present you the Global Autism Community Moderators. Hey guys, Happy New Year.
Hi there.
Happy New Year.
All right, so let's start with some brief introductions. Corben, you want to go first?
Yeah. I am Corben Havener. I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I'm in one of the community moderators for this past term. Right now, I've generally kept pretty busy. I work full-time at BF Goodrich as a member of the United Steelworkers Local 715 Union. And I have also taken up being a certified substitute teacher at Fort Wayne Community Schools.
All right. Thanks, Corben. And Mary.
Hi, my name is Mary, and I was one of the moderators for this past 6 months. And I got to do fun things like make the events or post like subtopics and help people figure out like what we were doing for the month.
Great. And you're a blogger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I run a blog called Autistic Rainbow 15.
Great. Thanks, Mary. And Michelle.
Hi, it's Michelle. I was one of the moderators for the Global Autism Project for the past 6 months. For those who don't know, I'm in Lakewood Ranch, Florida. For those of you who are in the Florida area, I definitely loved my experiences as a moderator, like just being involved in the roundtable discussions and like even getting to facilitate one, which was a great leadership experience for those who want to do it. And just a little background about me. I own my own blog website, The World of Autism, and I have a new experience starting actually next week, which I'll share later on.
Perfect. And I also want to mention that we have another moderator too, Liz Castillo. Unfortunately, she couldn't join us for this recording, but she's here with us in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to take a moment to reflect on last year. What are you guys most proud of, or what are some of your favorite memories from 2022?
So 2022 was definitely something that definitely kept me engaged, with the community. Well, first of all, like this community, of course, gave me a contact where I was confidently able to take a trip to New York in June, and that was a great roll with it experience that I was finally able to do. And then, of course, resulting and reacting to something that happened in April with one of our roundtables that was on a very chance basis. We've each gotten our opportunity to lead our own roundtable discussions, and it's definitely a good leadership building experience.
Yeah, definitely. 2022 was a year of growth for our online community, and the three of you stepped up into this leadership role in a really powerful way. And I just, want to say thank you on behalf of the Global Autism Project for your dedication to our mission and our community. And, you've all really helped to create this beautiful, safe space where people can share openly. So thank you for that.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. All right. What else are you guys proud of? It doesn't have to be related to the community. It could be something personal.
I guess I'll go then because now that I can actually mention it. So I got a new job with the school district. I am moving up. I am now going to be a special education behavior specialist. Right now, I've been on winter break. So next Monday, I start my new position. So I'm very excited about it, to take on a whole new experience and just to be able to help more of the disability community.
Congratulations, Michelle. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah. And you have such a unique perspective being in that role, given your own lived experiences.
I'm very excited because I definitely am one of the first in my district. So it is a big deal to be like a role model in the way for those that who eventually want to be able to work for a school district and stuff. So I hope that this really helps a lot for those who are trying to gain experience. Once you get your foot in the door, that's where you get more experience and you keep building yourself up. Because for me, it took me almost 4 years starting off as a paraprofessional, and now I got myself up. So that's how you got to do it.
Yeah. Great. And didn't you also graduate this last year?
Yes, that's another thing too. I graduated back in October of last year. I graduated from Purdue University Global. I got my bachelor's degree. So that was another huge accomplishment. So 2022 was definitely a big year for me.
Yes. Amazing. Mary, how about you?
I would say the thing that I'm most proud of is probably just finding out new things I'm good at. And I was really persistent with a lot of things that I didn't really know about, like different college classes, and even in the moderatorship, I didn't really know how to set up Zoom meetings or organize that kind of stuff. So I was able to kind of learn about that more and become more informed with technology.
Mm-hmm. Great. And those are skills that you can carry on and use in the future too. I guess for me, work-wise, related to Global Autism Project, I'm really proud that we were able to get our responsive skills training up and running. It's not launched yet. It's definitely close in the works, but we have a huge chunk of the content created. And really, it couldn't have been done without our committee of contributors. And I know some of you moderators were part of that too. So, it's interesting to think about the kind of trajectory of our work, because we wouldn't have had all of the voices contributing to the responsive skills training if it weren't for the community. And we wouldn't have had the community if it weren't for the podcast. So it's all just kind of been lining up in a path that's been meant to be, if that makes sense. So I'm really, really excited to put that in the public. And so people who are service providers can get this training. And on a personal level, I guess one of the intentions I had for 2022 was to have a more balanced life, to have a balance between work and play and friends and family. And I think, moving to Barcelona 3 years, almost 4 years ago now, it was hard during the pandemic. Like I felt pretty lonely and homesick. And now I feel like I actually have a group of friends who I would almost consider family. And so it's really nice to have that network here. Anything else you guys want to add about 2022?
Well, the house that I'm in is the house that I closed in February, and I think it was an interesting experience. Sometimes I do struggle in my life deciding if it was the correct decision or not to actually buy, because I'm still pretty antsy on where I am in life or maybe where I want to go. So it felt like I put down a hard route. But on the good end of that is, in terms of Fort Wayne, it's like in my favorite area that I could have possibly found in Fort Wayne.
That's great. So location-wise, you're happy there.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michelle, are you going to say something?
I was going to say about like how, besides with 2022, just like overall, it was just, for me personally, was just a great year of growth overall. Like even like personally, like how with friends and family, like I've been doing more of a balance with, especially towards the end, like once college ended for me and I graduated, like that's where I kind of like got more of that back, where I was balancing better with being with friends and family and with my boyfriend and everything. So it just, having that kind of balance and just doing what I do.
Great. So going back to your experience as a moderator in 2022, what would you like to share? You guys have mentioned a few things already. What are some highlights of your role as a moderator?
I feel like one of the things is, of course, we're keeping it a safe and respectful community. Now, one topic that I always like to get on top of is, when members of our community talk about work topics. One thing about my experience is I've had a very rough go of it at work. When I graduated from college, I found myself straight in a very predatory employment situation. And then, of course, another job that I was great at was sort of upended by the pandemic. And then I also got terminated for cause on a technicality, which was a very upsetting and bitter way to end that employment. And then, of course, did a couple jobs that I knew were completely dead end. And right now it's like I'm definitely not doing what I want to do for the rest of my life right now. It's and it is a hard thing for me right now, but I do know that I had to respect myself as a worker. And when I tried to give, employment related advice, it's always going to come to respect yourself as a worker, respect the fact that as a worker, these companies cannot operate without you, that you are the most valuable part of what allows them to be successful. And, I've had a number of opportunities where I was able to just reiterate those messages to community members that have had employment related struggles as far as with whatever their jobs have been.
Yeah. I'm glad that they've seen the community as a place that they can turn to for support. And Corben, you've been in there almost every day commenting and asking people questions and engaging with them. And that's really made a difference so that they know that they're not alone. Mary, what was the moderator role like for you?
I would say for me, I obviously was balancing it with like school and family life and stuff, but I found ways to make all of it work. And I'd say that the thing that I really enjoyed the most was probably connecting with people in the comments. And when we posted about the subtopics like swimming safety or Halloween for autistic kids or things like that, I'd talk about like my experience, and Corben or Michelle or anyone else could talk about their experience as well, and we could kind of create like different things that we could talk about in the upcoming meeting. And we could all just kind of like bond over how we grew up as autistics and stuff, which was fun.
Great. Yeah, it's a great place to meet new people from all over the world, really.
Yeah, I'd say that was probably my second thing too, is meeting just so many people and becoming closer with Michelle and Corben, because they're both very nice. And I'm really glad that we got to become good friends this year.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Michelle, how about you? What was your experience like?
First, like when I saw the moderator application, like when that first came out, like I knew I was balancing with college and with multiple jobs and everything. And so I was like trying to figure out how am I going to do this, but at the same time, I like knew I wanted to now, because like I wanted to connect in a whole nother level with the autism community, not just what I've been doing in person, like and my multiple jobs, but even like so online too, just to be able to provide from my own experiences and my own resources that I would be able to provide for the community. So that's pretty much what I did as a moderator. Like through the roundtables, through the online discussions and everything that we had on the online community, it was just so great, like seeing the amount of engagement from members and like really connecting in such a deeper level. And the fact that I love that, as Mary said, like with Mary and Corben, like we got to bond and everything and definitely became friends through this experience as being moderators. So I really have enjoyed the experience, and I hope that more people will take on the opportunity, because you will really develop a lot of skills, even social skills too, like you're working with other people, teamwork, leadership, you name it. So this is a good start for those that want to have that experience, or even just to even volunteer too. Like if you have a passion for like with advocacy and everything, this is where to do it.
Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, this is a great opportunity to announce that we're currently accepting applications for our next cohort of moderators. So I'll put a link to the application in our show notes for anyone who might be interested in joining our team. Okay, so moving on to 2023, here we are. What do you wish to accomplish this year? Like, what are your priorities?
Well, before I get into my plans concretely figured out, one thing that I feel like I need to take the opportunity to do, and I need to hopefully within the first half of the year, is utilize the 80 hours of paid vacation time that I'm going to have. And I am thinking this time, just have that time. I really want to do what I'd consider the counterclockwise California road trip. So, like, I mean, I already have it hypothetically down in my head, which is like an Interstate 80 out west, Bay Area first, head south, maybe like an LA or San Diego type thing. And basically, through autism advocacy, the cool thing is I actually know people that I can get in contact with if I go out those directions. So that's one of the benefits. As far as on the way back, I could also do 40 to 44. I don't know. That's the opportunity that I could have if I use it right. And then I can feel like I can have something to do that, fulfills, my purpose better, which it could be transitioning to teaching because I feel like I have something there, or maybe some sort of role where I can actually get a paycheck while advocating or something. My day to day has got to at some point find more meaning.
Hmm. So, do you have a plan to figure that out?
Yeah, that's a hard thing. I want to talk to like a fifth grade teacher at one of the FWCS schools that I know to figure some things out. But I think the hardest thing for me, there's a lot of things that I've got to overcome. I don't know how many people relate to this, but especially like I'm very efficient when it comes to texting, but I get really bad texting anxiety when I'm thinking about reaching out to somebody in my area. And that is something where that oftentimes prevents me from being able to connect with a lot of the people like in the area that I want to connect with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mary or Michelle, could you relate to that? Do you have any tips to offer?
I don't know if I can relate 100%. It's just that like I know when it came to like with texting or Snapchat, I know with me, like I never liked really like if people left unopened or something, because like I know with communication, like sometimes with texting, yeah, it can be a little bit anxiety provoking, like not like in terms of like how you're trying to communicate and stuff. I know that can be a little tricky, but the best thing is just with, from my advice, is just with taking your time of how you're going to respond. Like don't worry about what the other person, if pretty much the other person, like whoever it is, like they'll understand that you're still thinking of how you're trying to respond. So just know that. I know from my experiences, as I've like, especially when I was younger, it took a little bit with people just getting to know like even the fact that I'm autistic. So that was a big thing of itself. But again, just knowing that when it comes to that, like, take your time about it. Don't force yourself to do something that's going to impact you.
Yeah, I'd say for me, like one of my biggest struggles is understanding the tone of text when people text me. Like sometimes when they type in all capitals, I think they're shouting, or sometimes the way they phrase things, I feel like they're mad or they're angry or, X, Y, and Z. And I think when that happens, the best thing for me to do is just to take some space from it. And usually I ask people to kind of read it for me, and they can kind of help me decipher kind of what's in between the lines. That's helped me a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I also think there is like a Midwest culture of, we don't want to inconvenience anybody in any sort of way. It's people that I've associated with positively in the past, but you can go sometimes weeks turn into months, turn into years. They're like still in your context somehow, and then you think, what are they going to think if they get the random message from you? And it's
Yeah, I get that. Sometimes you could even just preface the message with saying that, like, hey, it's been a long time. I know we haven't spoken in a while, but I was thinking about you because blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And maybe you might be surprised. They'll be happy to hear from you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good luck, Corben. I hope you figure out how to find more meaning in your day to day, whether that means landing a teacher role or whatever you have planned, like the road trip. I think that would be really exciting, planning that.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, what do you wish to accomplish in 2023?
For me, I really want to accomplish like more independence. Like I want to work more on like finding meals that I can cook and things that are good to eat, but are like not too challenging, if that makes sense. Like I want to experiment more in the kitchen because my biggest struggle is like coming up with meal plans and finding like food that makes me feel good, like mentally and physically. So I think I want to get outside more and I want to find more meals that I enjoy and also just kind of work on some different independent things, like as an autistic person.
Great. Do you have some support with that?
My sister-in-law wants to help me find some cookbooks and says that she wants to help me find like fun recipes that are healthy so that way I can learn how to cook more meals and be more independent in the kitchen, but I don't get bored. Because that's like my biggest struggle is I get bored of the food I eat really easily. So I need like options that get me excited to eat the food, but I want like variety. So we're trying to come up with meals that are like not too challenging to make, but are also good and good for you. And they're like exciting and things like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do.
Nice. You'll have to share some pictures of the meals you make over in the community. And Michelle, how about you? What are your priorities?
For me this year, as people may have known, one of my jobs is that I work as a registered behavior technician. And so now during my experiences is that I actually also been getting supervision at the same time for the next level, which is the behavior analyst assistant, the BCABA certification. So that's my next goal now for this year. And luckily, before I'm starting my new position with the school district, I found out that they do provide supervision. So that's going to help me 10 times faster through the process. So I'm crossing my fingers that hopefully this will be the year that I can go for that certification test. Because I just took my RBT one last year and passed it. So, and been getting that experience. So I'm like really hoping that that I'll get myself to the next level with that too. I just keep growing myself. That's what every year that's like always with me. I'm always trying to find ways to like continue to grow myself overall. And that's definitely one of them for me this year.
Yeah, well, good luck, Michelle.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know your passion is there, so I know that you can make it happen.
Thanks, Rachel.
All right, so for me, I guess personally, I would love to go back to playing more piano. I have this piano here in my apartment, and I don't think I've played it in months. It's just been sitting there collecting dust. It's quite a shame because I even went to school to study music therapy at some point. So I love the idea of using music to help people. I know that working with autistic people, it can really help build confidence and it's a form of self-expression. And it's just fun, if you like music and you're into jamming out. So I definitely want to maybe build a routine. I got 2 piano books for Christmas from my cousin, who was my secret Santa. So I think if I just, put it in my schedule and make a habit out of it, then I'll get back into it. And professionally, I was thinking about, like I was saying before, the trajectory of what we've been doing with the organization with the podcast and community and responsive skills training. And, I was really inspired last year by Sarah Bradford's summit that she did. Michelle, you were part of that, right? So
I was part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was one of the speakers for it.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a huge shout out to Sarah because of the SJ Childs show, I'll say specifically, because she did an amazing job putting it together. Her and her colleague, Maria Daniels, I believe is her name. So I think it'd be so cool if we did something like that with the global autism community. I'm not sure yet what that's going to look like. I'm just kind of speaking it into existence now. And, once you say things out loud, then they should happen, right? So we'll see if everything lines up. Because I think it would be great to have everyone together in one day, and just share ideas and perspectives. What do you guys think? Do you like that idea?
I think that's a good idea, especially getting more of the community out there, like for those who want to voice their experiences and everything. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, the challenge is there's no way everybody who wants to be in there can. That's always sort of the thing that will lead to frustration. But if it's accessible, you can have a good event, definitely.
Yeah, you're right, Corben. But I think with enough advance notice, people can plan for it. And also, we can make the recordings available afterwards, that people can download it and view it kind of in an evergreen way.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'd like to close with one last question for you guys. What advice would you give to future moderators of our community? Mary, you want to go first?
Sure. I would say have fun with it, branch out to different people, try new things, and, jump outside your comfort zone. Like for one time, I actually hosted a roundtable. I never thought I would do something like that, but I actually had fun doing it. It was something new. It was something different. So don't be afraid to try new things and experiment a little bit and kind of see what you like, because maybe one day it could be a job or a fun little blog on the side, and you never know.
Great.
Yeah. So one thing that was sort of a driver for me was getting into this community, and just to be in a moderator role is when you engage with discussion, you definitely learn a lot more things. I'm definitely a promoter of autistic led advocacy. And one of the things is, I was, a lot of the first perspectives that I would usually get would be more the ASAN things. And obviously one of the things is, I've certainly nuanced, my view on ABA, especially given the fact that it's accessible. So voices in the community like, Brian Middleton, and really looking for the diversity affirming approach has given me, a great perspective on, moving the dialogue forward.
Oh, that's so great, Corben. I'm really glad that you brought that up, because it just shows how non-judgmental our community is. That, we really try to keep an open ear and open mind to hear the other side and see if there's something that we can learn from it. So thank you for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle, what's your advice for future moderators?
My advice is to be yourself. Don't be afraid to express who you are through, when it comes to posting, to the roundtable discussions and everything, because don't forget that this is a community that, that has so many, that this is an opportunity for networking too. There's a lot of autistic people who are in the community. There's also, you have all kinds of people who are a part of the community, and it's a great way to get to know people and just to really bond with one another. But as a moderator yourself, it's so important to be yourself, because you're showing who you are, and that's so important. And people will love to see that with you being yourself. And I know I've really enjoyed my experiences as a moderator. I've gotten to grow myself in terms of being with other people on the team, and just with even taking on a roundtable discussion and everything, that even though with balancing with college and everything at the time, it was just, we made it work and everything. So it just, having a balance is also key too. So make sure that you figure out time that works for you, and definitely work with other people's times too as well. Like be open, have an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, thank you guys. Thank you again so much for everything you've done for the community. And, you're still there. This isn't goodbye. We're just giving other people a chance to step up too. So thank you all so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Autism Knows No Borders. Listening to our moderators share their experiences reminded me that this position is much more than just responding to posts online. It's an opportunity to grow personally, develop professionally, and make meaningful connections. If you're interested in joining our team of moderators, check out the link in our show notes to apply for this role and help make a difference in other people's lives. And if you're not yet a member of our online community, sign up today at community.globalautismproject.org. Whether you're a self-advocate wanting to connect with other autistic people, or you're a family member hoping to support and empower your loved one, or you're a professional seeking to hear directly from autistic voices and improve your practice, you can join our online Global Autism community to collaborate with people from all over the world. Let's work together to transform how the world relates to autism. Thanks for listening. Take care. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community.
You've been listening to Autism Knows No Borders, brought to you by the Global Autism Project. You can find Rachel's notes for this episode and learn more about today's guests at autismknowsnoborders.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the show on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. By doing so, you'll be helping us increase awareness and acceptance of autism around the world.